Hey guys and gals, this is John Ciet. For most people, living their dreams is a foreign concept. Look, 75% of people polled say that they hate their job. And yet what is interesting is that 75% of millionaires say that they love what they do. And look, before you jump to the idea of the conclusion that, well, wait a minute, John, I'd like my job as well if it made me a millionaire. See, if you said that or were thinking that, you'd be missing the entire point. Look, Oprah Winfrey, when she started out in her career over 40 years ago, she didn't start out with this idea that she was going to be worth $3 billion. That was not her focus. She pursued her passions and she became exceptional at what it is that she does. And as a result, she became a billionaire. See, that's a much different concept. Look, success is like the sausage making process. It is a messy, disgusting process. It's a messy, disgusting looking process. And yet the end result sells. It's fantastic. It's sausage. Look, I remember this quote. It goes something like this. We're all manufacturers, making good, making trouble, or making excuses. That is so true. What is the point of that statement? Look, number one, we're all responsible. Now, that doesn't mean we take responsibility, but it means that we're responsible at the end of the day. But see, we've got to be responsible and we can't act irresponsibly. And look, if you're making trouble or making excuses for yourself or for others, you're acting irresponsibly. And number two, what's the point of that statement? We get to decide. See, it's a choice. See, we're all manufacturers. We can make good, we can make trouble, or we can make excuses. Number one, take responsibility and don't act irresponsibly. And number two, we get to decide. We get to decide if we're going to do that. It's just simply a choice. See, we get a choice to write it, the story. The way in which we see things, the way in which we allow things to play out in our imagination. We get to decide that. If it's going to be the most productive way, or if it's going to be a less than productive way. Whatever the situation is, whether we're talking business and prospecting, a situation with another agent, working with a buyer or a seller, we get to write the story ultimately. See, and what you focus on, you tend to get. So interesting. Look, whether you think you can or can't do anything, either way, you're going to be correct. The fact is, we get what we look for. It's called confirmation bias. Look, have you ever bought an article of clothing or a car or heard a song and then literally that same day, for weeks later after that point, you see that article of clothing or you see that car? It's like, I remember when I bought my Jeep. I'd never seen so many Jeeps in my life after I bought my Jeep. And now you think that there were more Jeeps on the road after I bought my Jeep than when I bought mine? And the answer, of course, is no. It's just, that's what I was looking for. It's called confirmation bias. I had a Jeep. Now I was keen to see all the Jeeps out there. Look, what are you looking for? Are you looking for trouble? Are you looking for excuses? Are you looking to blame? Are you looking to be angry? Are you looking to be sad? And some of you might be saying, wait a minute, John, I'm not looking for those things. And my response to you would be, really? Then I challenge you to be mindful of what you say or think to yourself when you allow the behavior of other people or your circumstances to lead to trouble, to excuses, to blame, to anger, to sadness. Look, I'm not telling you not to experience human emotions. You should. It's part of the human experience. But some people are addicted to some of the worst and most counterproductive emotions, and they spend their time camped out on them, like a hen trying to hatch an egg. Look, in other words, they're manufacturing stories that are negative. They create negative experiences for themselves. Don't do that. So I guess the real question is, how do we stop that process? Well, number one, we have to accept responsibility. Accept responsibility, understanding that whatever it is that we're experiencing, at the end of the day, it is our responsibility. See, if you don't agree with that, if that's not something you're inclined to do, what I would say is that you're tending to be a victim. I get that bad things happen to good people, but at the end of the day, at some point, we have to assume responsibility. What are we going to do? Rely on other people to make us feel good? To do our job for us? to create the relationships we want in our lives or the health that we want, mentally, physically, and emotionally? No, it's our responsibility. So number one, accept responsibility. Number two, be aware of how you feel. Be aware. Ask yourself, how do I feel right now? And if you come up with the answer, I'm angry, or I'm sad, or I'm disappointed, or I'm frustrated, whatever those emotions are, or I'm happy, whatever they are, recognize it consciously. How do I feel? And then follow it up with this question: why do I feel that way? Because remember this, your thoughts lead to your emotions. So if you're experiencing any emotion, which at any given time we're experiencing one, if not many, those emotions are coming as a result of what you're thinking about. So the best way to manufacture the right outcome is to make certain we're conscious of what we're thinking about. Remember this. Most people are looking to manufacture something every single day in their lives. We have a choice to manufacture good, to manufacture trouble, to manufacture excuses, anger, sadness. But at the end of the day, we are the manufacturer and we are responsible. The good news is we are responsible, which means we can change it. So my question for you is, do you want to change it? Do you want to be the manufacturer of the right emotions? Then be aware of what you're thinking about. Be aware of what your emotions are. And if they're not what you want them to be, then simply change it, because it is simply a choice. Give these things some thought, and as usual, I'll see you at the top.